Hi folks, it's Chef Kevin. Today I'm making an unusual sauce. I'm making Old Bay Sauce Americaine. You probably never heard of this sauce. That's because I just made it up. What is Sauce Americaine? Sauce Americaine is a French sauce that was developed by an American chef while living in Paris in the 1870s. It became a really popular sauce. But instead of using the normal spices like oregano, thyme, and marjoram, I'm using Old Bay seasoning. Old Bay seasoning in itself is over 100 years old. It's very popular in the US and it's very popular here in Virginia, Maryland area. It goes very well with shrimp and crabs. And instead of using fish stock, I'll be using homemade crab stock. Now, Escoffier, the famous French chef, who is known as the father of modern cooking, would use lobster. But lobster down here is hard to find. So I'm going to be using crabs. Crabs are very easy to find down here. You can also use shrimp as well. Okay, let's take a look at the ingredients. Okay, here are my crabs. This is 1 dozen crabs, blue crabs. I bought these steamed. Cost me $25. They're looking nice. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean them up, take as much meat out as I can. It's going to be a little bit of a hard work, but it'll be worth it in the long run. Let's see how much I can get out of this dozen. And I'm not going to bother showing you how to clean them and crack them and all that, because there's enough videos out there that do that. And I'm trying to keep my videos short because I'm out here in Jamesville, Virginia, and I'm using HughesNet for internet. So it takes a lot of time to upload videos to YouTube. Okay, and then I'll get into the rest of the ingredients after this. Okay folks, that took me a good 45 minutes. These are all the bones and shell fragments. This is the meat, it's about 9 ounces. So I'm going to be using the shells in the sauce. There's a lot of flavor in those shells. And I'm only going to use about 1/3 of these shells because I'm only making a small portion of the sauce Americaine. The rest I'll freeze and I'll make a stock out of that on another day. Okay, let's take a look at the rest of the ingredients. Okay folks, there's a lot of ingredients here. Like I said, this is a complex sauce. Okay, let's start out with the main player, of course. That is the lump crab meat. That's about 3/4 cup. I'm just making 1 serving for myself. That's part of the 12 crabs that I cleaned yesterday. This is about 4 crabs. The bones from the crabs, the shells. There's a lot of flavor in that. That's not trash. Of course, we have Old Bay, since this is an Old Bay Sauce Americaine recipe. Some Old Bay hot sauce. I don't even know if you've heard of this. Diced roasted tomatoes. This is a tomato-based sauce after all. Salt and pepper. Homemade crab stock. Instead of fish stock, I'm using crab stock. A carrot. 2 sticks of celery. White wine. Brandy. And part of an onion. Okay, let's get right into this, folks. Okay, I have a 12-quart saucepan here. And what I'm going to do is I have some oil in there already. I'm gonna dump my shells in there directly. Now, like I said, these shells are loaded with flavor, loaded with taste. I'm gonna go ahead and cook those down 3-4 minutes and then start adding the rest of the ingredients. Going to go ahead and add about 3 ounces of Old Bay. Now I'm doing this because I want the Old Bay to infuse with the shells and start roasting those Old Bay spices off. Smells good already. Okay, it's been about 3 to 4 minutes. Bring you in here a little bit. That's what it looks like. It's got a lot of color to it. I'm gonna go ahead and add some brandy. That was about 1.5 ounces. I'm not driving. That'll evaporate off. I don't want to set it on fire. That's all show. And I don't want to burn down my new house. Okay, so I got my carrot in and my celery sticks. Now, of course, this is all going to be extracted. Smells so good. Going to add a cup of homemade crab stock. Going to go ahead and add my tomatoes. This is 14 ounces. Sounds good. Black pepper. I am not going to put salt in until it's almost finished. There's a certain amount of salt within the crab, so I don't want to end up with an overly salted meal, or sauce, I should say. Looking good. I'm going to add some white wine here. That's about 1/3 of a cup. Bring that back to a boil. I'm going to add some Old Bay hot sauce. They came out with this hot sauce last year, 2020, and it hit the market and it just took off. People were buying it on eBay for $50 a bottle. I'm not quite sure if it's worth $50 a bottle or not, but it is good. Okay, I'm going to bring this back to a boil, cook it down for about 15 minutes. We're cooking away here, folks. I almost forgot one thing, the cream. In fact, I did forget the cream. But the next best thing is whole milk. That was 1/2 cup. So I'm going to let that reduce. Not much difference between cream and milk. Plus I'm going to add some roux to this just to make it a little thicker towards the end. Now, when I was in culinary school, my chef instructor asked, what is the difference between a chef and a cook? And my answer was $5 an hour. Of course, that really didn't go over quite well as a joke. But the fact is, you have to be able to improvise. So I had no cream. I'll just use the milk, and I'll add a little bit more roux to thicken it out. I'm going to go ahead and add the roux. About a tablespoon of roux should do. Roux is a combination of butter and flour, and it's used quite extensively in French cooking. This is really looking good, folks. Okay, so this has been cooking basically for about 30 minutes. I'm going to shut the heat off. I'm going to pass whatever's in that pot through this strainer. And then I'm going to reduce it a little further. Okay, after all that work, I have about a cup and a half of sauce here. That is so good. I'm going to go ahead and reduce this. It needs to be thicker than that. Okay, folks, let's plate this bad boy up. You have some yellow rice here with some roasted corn. Looking good. I have some crab bodies. This is the actual top of the crab. And what I'm going to do is spoon the crab into the shell. I'm going to put my sauce on top of that. Very nice. I'm going to garnish that with a little fresh avocado. A little cilantro. You gotta have cilantro. And served with some lemon wedges. A meal fit for a king. What we have here is Chef Kevin's Old Bay Sauce Americaine, and I think it came out quite beautiful. Trying to get that right at the right place. Okay, I'm dying to taste this. That sauce is to die for. I'll tell you what though, I'm glad I didn't add any additional salt. The stock had salt in it. Wow. This is so good on so many levels. Wow. Okay, folks. It's not polite to talk and eat at the same time. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. If you think I'm a half-decent chef, consider subscribing and maybe even give me a thumbs up. Until later, see ya.